Okay, let's unpack this. We're diving into a classic source today, um, a book that made some pretty powerful claims about something incredibly close to you, your own mind.
Yeah, it really does. It suggests there's this, like, hidden power within us.
Right. Potentially shaping everything,
Yeah,
your health, your success. And it claims that understanding it can unlock what feels almost like miracles.
that's right. And our mission here is to really dig into this book's core ideas, look at the practical techniques it offers. It challenges us to look inward for answers to some really big questions.
Yeah, questions lots of us grapple with, like, why do some people just seem to nail success while others struggle constantly?
hmm Or why does one person get better from an illness and someone else, maybe with the same condition, doesn't?
Exactly. And even, why do genuinely good people sometimes face just immense suffering?
And the answer this book gives is, well, it's almost shockingly simple. It says the power isn't primarily out there in luck or circumstances, it's entirely within you.
It offers this really compelling promise then. Learn to understand and, I guess, direct this magic power, that's what it calls it, of your subconscious mind.
Yeah.
And your everyday thinking, your imagination can literally remake your life, bring you health, happiness, success. So how does it actually say this works?
Well, it starts with a really fundamental idea, the dual nature of the mind. The source suggests that your mind operates in two distinct spheres, two functions, basically.
Okay, so not just one thing going on up there. What are these two parts?
So first, there's the conscious mind. The book calls this your reasoning, choosing mind. It's the part you're aware of using for daily decisions, right?
Yeah.
What to wear, what route to take.
Uh-huh. The captain of the ship, kinda?
Exactly. That's the analogy it uses, the captain issuing orders.
And the second part.
That's the subconscious mind. Now, this is more automatic, reactive, it's intuition, it's the deeper stuff. And crucially, the source says it cannot reason or argue.
Can't argue.
Nope. It just accepts whatever the conscious mind believes or tells it to do, and then it acts on it, brings it into your experience. It's the crew on the ship just carrying out the captain's orders. No questions asked.
Wow. So if the captain of my conscious mind orders the ship to just go in circles, the crew, the subconscious, just does it.
Precisely. That's the idea. And the book uses another great analogy. Think of your conscious mind as a gardener. All day long, you're planting seeds.
Seeds being thoughts.
Exactly. Thoughts are the seeds. And you're planting them in the garden, which is your subconscious mind.
Ah, okay. And the garden, the subconscious, it just grows whatever seeds you plant, good or bad.
That's it. As you sow, so shall you reap. Not just metaphorically, but according to this source, in your actual body and your environment. Habitually plant seeds of worry, fear, lack. That's the harvest you'll get. Discord, confusion, limitation.
But if you plant seeds of, say, health, harmony, prosperity.
Then those are the conditions that will tend to manifest in your life.
So this makes a really direct link then. Every single thought is a cause. And the conditions in your life, those are the effects.
That's the core principle the source keeps coming back to. If you want to change the effects, the external stuff you don't like, you absolutely have to change the cause.
And the cause is always...
always rooted in the thoughts and beliefs you've impressed deeply onto your subconscious.
There's that great story in the book about Caruso, the opera singer, right? Dealing with stage fright. He talked to himself.
Oh yeah, the little me and the big me.
Exactly. He said, the little me is trying to paralyze the big me. That captures this perfectly.
It really does. The little me, that's the conscious mind, fearful, anxious. But the big me, that's the subconscious, this incredible powerhouse within.
And Caruso wasn't just, thinking positive thoughts. He was commanding it.
Yes, commanding the irrational fear generated in his deeper mind, saying things like, be still, be quiet, I am in control, you must obey me. And the story goes, the subconscious responded. It calmed him down.
Allowed him to perform brilliantly. So it's the conscious mind speaking with authority.
Authority, conviction. It's active direction, not just passive acceptance.
Okay. And speaking of what the subconscious accepts, without question, the source talks a lot about the power of suggestion.
Yes, this is absolutely key. Because the subconscious is completely open to suggestion. It doesn't filter, it doesn't criticize like the conscious mind does. It just takes it in.
Like the crew again. Captain says turn left. They don't debate it.
Right. Now, there's auto-suggestion suggesting something specific to yourself. But the book really highlights how much powerful negative suggestion we get from others.
Heterosuggestion, it calls it.
That's the term, and we get it constantly, often from infancy. Think about all the limiting things people hear and maybe internalize. You can't do that. You'll never amount to anything. It's no use trying. Oh, you're too old now.
Wow. And if you accept those, even unconsciously.
They become beliefs lodged in the subconscious, and they can absolutely create these negative self-sabotaging patterns in your life.
So how do you fight that?
Well, the source positions constructive autosuggestion, consciously feeding yourself positive, empowering ideas as a kind of reconditioning therapy. You use it to overwrite those old, unhelpful programs.
Do they give examples of suggestion working?
Oh, absolutely. Some really vivid ones. There's the story of the friend in Chicago.
Oh, yeah, the time zone thing.
Right. He felt instantly hungry just because someone told him it was noon, even though his body clock was hours behind. His subconscious reacted to the suggestion of mealtime.
Amazing.
Or the young singer facing stage fright. Before an audition, she didn't fight the fear. She just kept repeating, affirming, I sing beautifully. I am poised, serene, confident, and calm.
Suggesting the outcome she wanted.
Exactly. Suggesting the feeling and the result. And her subconscious brought it about.
The story that really hit me, though, was the relative who was told by a fortune teller when he would die. And he did. Right on schedule?
Yeah, that one's intense. But the source is crystal clear. The fortune teller had zero actual power. None.
So it was his
Yeah.
own belief.
It was his own complete acceptance of that negative suggestion. He lived in constant fear and expectation of it, and that belief, impressed on his subconscious, brought it about. The power wasn't external. It was his internal acceptance.
That's sobering.
It really is. And there's Bernheim's experiment, too, creating a physical blister with just a postage stamp.
By suggesting it was a caustic plaster.
Right. It shows that suggestion can cause actual, structural changes in the body.
Okay, so the big takeaway here is statements from others, suggestions. They only have power if you give it to them through your own thought, your own belief. You choose.
You choose what seeds to accept into your garden. And this power of belief, of acceptance, it ties directly into healing. The source argues healing also comes from within.
From the subconscious.
Yeah, it calls the subconscious the builder of the body, controlling all those involuntary functions, heartbeat, digestion, breathing, and says it can heal you.
And it talks about faith being key here.
Right, but it defines faith in a specific way, not necessarily religious dogma, though it can be part of that for some. It's more like a definite, positive mental attitude, an inner conviction, a confident expectancy that something good will happen.
Okay, does it have stories for this too? Healing through faith.
Incredible ones. There's the woman healed of atrophied optic nerves. No conventional treatment worked, but she consistently lulled herself to sleep, repeating, feeling, the perfection of God is now being expressed through me, focusing on perfect health.
And it worked.
According to the book, yes. Her subconscious, accepting this deep conviction, remade her physical condition.
Wow. Then there's the girl whose singing voice came back. She believed in Buddha's power.
Right. She performed a ritual, had immense faith in Buddha. But the source is careful to point out, it wasn't the ritual itself, or even Buddha per se. It was her deep faith in the process, her expectancy of healing. That's what conditioned her subconscious to produce the result.
So the object of faith doesn't matter as much as the faith itself.
That's the argument. Perhaps the most dramatic example is the man healed of tuberculosis. He found a splinter of wood.
And believed it was from the true cross?
Yes, he believed it with incredible intensity. And the source says, through that fervent belief, that imagination coupled with confident expectancy, he was healed. It wasn't the wood, it was his mind activating the healing power within.
So relics, special waters, different therapies, they can seem to work because
the belief in them, the suggestion given to the subconscious, activates its own inherent healing power. The object or method is just a trigger, a focal point for the faith.
it's the faith itself, the thought accepted as true by the subconscious, that does the heavy lifting.
That's the core message on healing.
Okay, this all sounds amazing, potentially life-changing.
Yeah.
But how do you actually do it? How do you consciously impress these positive ideas onto your subconscious? The book gives practical techniques, right?
It does, several. One major one is the visualization technique.
Just picturing things.
It's more active than just daydreaming. It's about seeing the desired result vividly in your mind's eye, as if it were already real, right now. Like an architect seeing the finished building before ground is broken.
Or that young man wanting to be a doctor, visualizing his diploma on the wall.
Exactly. And the absolute key, the source stresses, is focusing on the feeling of the wish fulfilled. Feel the joy, the relief, the satisfaction now.
Ah, it's not just the picture, it's the emotion attached to it.
That's crucial.
Yeah.
Then there's the thank you technique.
Thanking for something you don't have yet.
Yes. Expressing sincere gratitude for the desired outcome before it physically manifests. Like a child thanking a parent for a promised gift. They feel happy, thankful, because they trust it's coming.
Okay.
The story of Mr. Broke illustrates this. Facing ruin, he sat down and repeatedly said, "Thank you, Father, for my wealth." Not just mechanically, but until he felt genuinely thankful.
And that feeling.
That feeling created the mental equivalent of wealth, impressed the subconscious, and apparently opportunities started opening up for him a job. Alone.
That feels really counterintuitive, though. Thanking before you receive.
Consciously, yes, it can feel strange. But remember, the goal is to impress the subconscious, and the subconscious responds most powerfully to feeling and conviction. Feeling thankful implies you already have it or have absolute faith it's yours.
Okay, I see. What else?
There's the affirmative method. This involves declaring certain truths. For instance, the source says health is normal, sickness is abnormal. So you affirm health, harmony, peace, realizing these are universal principles. It helps rearrange negative thought patterns.
Like wiping the slate clean and writing the truth.
Kind of like that, yeah. Correcting errors in your thinking. And then there's the decree method.
Decree. Sounds forceful.
It is, in a way. It's about making authoritative statements, but with feeling and faith, knowing that the power within you backs your word. The example of the young girl decreeing freedom from unwanted attention is a good one.
She didn't fight or argue?
No, she simply declared, with conviction, "I release him unto God. I am free, and he is free," trusting that inner power to sort it out harmoniously.
So all these techniques, visualization, gratitude, affirmation, decree, they're all aimed at getting the idea past the skeptical conscious mind.
Exactly, and lodging it firmly in the receptive subconscious.
And you said feeling is key.
Paramount. Just repeating words while feeling the opposite, like saying "I am wealthy," while feeling desperate poverty creates conflict. The subconscious gets mixed messages or rejects the affirmation because the dominant feeling is lack. Trying too hard can also create resistance.
So it needs genuine conviction. And is there like a best time to do this?
The source highly recommends the state just before falling asleep and right upon waking up.
Why then?
Because the conscious mind is less active, more drowsy. The barrier between conscious and subconscious is thinner, making the subconscious more receptive to the ideas you introduce.
Makes sense. Now, the book doesn't just talk health. It applies all this to success and wealth too, right? Calls it wealth a subconscious conviction.
Yes. Which explains why just chanting "I am wealthy" often doesn't work if deep down you don't believe it or you feel like you're lying to yourself. The conscious mind just argues back.
Right. So what does it suggest instead if that direct affirmation feels fake?
A couple of things. One is to simply repeat the word wealth, slowly, quietly, like a lullaby, just before sleep. Let the feeling associated with wealth soak into your subconscious without triggering that conscious argument.
Just the word itself. Interesting.
Or use a broader affirmation that might feel more believable, like "by day and by night I am being prospered in all of my interests." It's less direct, less likely to cause that internal conflict if you're currently facing lack.
And the story of the young man who wanted to be a doctor but had no money fits here perfectly.
Absolutely. He didn't focus on the lack of money, which would have just reinforced lack. He used visualization.
Picturing his medical diploma every night.
Yes. Holding it, feeling the reality of it. His subconscious, accepting that end result as true, then guided him towards the necessary means, finding odd jobs, cleaning medical offices, impressing a doctor who eventually sponsored him.
So he focused on the end, and the subconscious worked out the how.
That's the principle. The source outlines 3 steps to what it calls true success. First, find out what you genuinely love to do, then do it. If you're unsure, ask your deeper mind for guidance. Something like, "The infinite intelligence of my subconscious mind reveals to me my true place in life."
Okay, find your passion. Step 2.
Specialize in that field. Become enthusiastic, knowledgeable, and cultivate a strong desire to serve others through your work, not just to get rich.
And the 3rd step. It calls this the most important one.
Ensure your desire benefits humanity in some way. A purely selfish desire, only focused on your own gain, apparently creates a kind of short circuit. It blocks the flow of true success.
Which ties back to how the source defines true success. It's not just money, is it?
No, it's peace of mind. It uses the example of a pickpocket. They might get money, but their inner state is fear, anxiety, lack. They don't have peace of mind, so by this definition, they aren't truly successful.
It always comes back to the inner state, doesn't it?
Always. Which is critical when we talk about overcoming fear and negative habits. The source calls fear humanity's greatest enemy.
Just a negative thought, really,
Yeah.
but so powerful in holding us back, causing failure, even sickness.
And the principle it gives for overcoming it is classic. Do the thing you are afraid to do, and the death of fear is certain.
Action is key, but it's rooted in a mental shift first.
Yes. You have to actively supplant the fear with a constructive thought. Substitute the fear with its opposite desire, fear of failure. Focus intensely on the desire for success, fear of sickness. Focus on perfect health.
The medical student who feared exams, that's a great example. He had, suggestive amnesia.
Yeah, the anxiety blocked his memory. Instead of dwelling on the fear of forgetting, he consistently imagined his mother congratulating him on passing. He focused on the happy result, felt its reality.
And his subconscious? The memory bank.
Responded by releasing the information during the exam.
What about habits? Like serious ones? Alcoholism.
The source says the absolute first step is that the desire to give up the habit must become stronger than the desire to continue it. Once that inner decision is truly made, it claims the healing is 51% accomplished.
The inner tipping point.
Exactly. It points to negative thinking, often rooted in feelings of inferiority or frustration, as a common cause of alcoholism. The cure then involves impressing the subconscious with ideas of freedom, sobriety, peace of mind, accomplishment.
And feeling the positive outcome.
Critically important. Feeling the thrill of being free. The story of the man who quit drinking by repeatedly picturing his daughter happily welcoming him home sober. He focused intensely on the desired feeling and the positive outcome.
And another recurring theme seems to be being the only thinker in your universe.
Yes. Don't let the negative statements or actions of others disturb your inner state. Their power to affect you only comes through your own thoughts, your own mental participation with their negativity.
Identify with your goal, peace, harmony, whatever it is, not the external chaos.
Right. Which leads perfectly into how we relate to other people. Harmonious human relations.
That principle, as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. It applies to relationships, too.
Directly. The source argues that your inner thoughts, your feelings, your inner speech about other people, they are actually experienced in how those people react to you.
Wow. So if I'm constantly criticizing someone in my head,
You'll likely experience criticism or negativity back from them. The salesman who hated his boss is the prime example here.
he had constant mental arguments with him.
Yeah, in his head all day long. And guess what? The boss treated him poorly. It was a reflection. But when the salesman deliberately changed his concept of the boss...
Started visualizing him acting according to the golden rule with kindness.
Exactly. When he changed his inner picture and feeling, the boss's outward behavior apparently changed dramatically. He even got promoted.
So the change started inside the salesman. That's powerful.
It implies we have more influence than we think. The source also talks about emotional maturity here, basically, allowing others to be different, to disagree without you getting upset or feeling attacked. You can disagree without being disagreeable.
And forgiveness comes up as essential, too.
Hugely important.
Yeah.
But again, not primarily for the other person, but for your own freedom. Holding on to resentment, anger, grudges. It's like being mentally chained to the person or situation you resent. It blocks your own good.
It hurts you more than them.
Often, yes. Forgiveness, as defined here, isn't about condoning bad behavior. It's about aligning your thoughts with harmony and peace. It's giving up the negative feelings and false beliefs for the truth of peace.
And it's selfish in a good way.
In the sense that what you genuinely wish for the other person, harmony, health, peace, all blessings, you are simultaneously attracting into your own experience. You release them and you release yourself.
So how do you do it? What's the technique?
It's straightforward. Quiet your mind, relax. Consciously decide to forgive the person, whether they know or deserve it isn't the point. Sincerely wish them well, harmony, health, peace. And crucially, realize their thoughts or actions cannot actually hurt you without your mental consent. You withdraw that consent.
And the examples. The man who banished guilt and high blood pressure by forgiving his brother.
Or the teacher who was criticized, felt hurt, but then chose to appreciate the points, forgive the critic sincerely, and felt peace. It dissolved the negativity.
And there was that practical tip, Don't gossip about marital problems with friends or relatives.
Right. It usually just amplifies the negativity and interferes with the inner subconscious work needed between the partners to find resolution. Keep it internal or seek professional guidance.
Okay, shifting gears a bit. The book talks about sleep, not just getting enough, but its power.
Yeah, it stresses adequate sleep for health, says severe insomnia can even precede breakdown. We get spiritually recharged during sleep.
And the subconscious is still working then.
Always working, especially during sleep. It's this vast storehouse of memory, and according to the source, it has the answer to every problem.
Every problem. That's a big claim.
It is, but the examples giving are pretty remarkable. Famous scientists. Kekulé figuring out the benzene ring structure in a dream.
Right, the snake biting its tail.
Agassiz solving the puzzle of a fossil fish image that kept appearing in his dreams. Banting getting the key insight for extracting insulin upon waking. They all consciously wrestled with the problem. Then the answer surfaced from the subconscious during sleep or just after.
Wow. And it's not just for geniuses, right? There are personal stories, too.
Loads of them. The man escaping the prison camp. He asked his subconscious for a way out before sleep, and during the lineup, got this strong, intuitive feeling, just knew he had to step aside at a specific moment.
And it saved him.
Apparently so. Or the man who found his lost ring by intuitively knowing which young boy to ask. Or the guy who found his father's lost will.
By repeating answer like a lullaby.
Yes, turning the request over to the subconscious before sleep.
And it mentions warnings received, too. Dreams or feelings.
Yeah, like the person who dreamt newspaper headlines about Pearl Harbor before it happened, or someone canceling a trip based on a strong, inexplicable gut feeling that later proved life-saving.
So the advice is, trust it. Ask for guidance before sleep.
Pretty much. Turn the problem over, state your desire for the right answer, and have confidence that the deeper wisdom within you will work on it and provide the solution maybe in a dream, an idea upon waking, a hunch, an encounter.
Now, something else that really struck me was the section on age. It completely flips the script on aging.
It really does. It argues age isn't a limitation, it's an asset. Calls it the dawn of wisdom.
The mind doesn't grow old.
Not if you keep it active, engaged, open to new ideas, new interests, new truths. Age brings this incredible wealth of accumulated experience, wisdom, skill. It's valuable.
And it really goes after age discrimination in employment. You're not selling gray hair. You're selling wisdom.
Absolutely. And it's packed with inspiring examples. An 84-year-old surgeon still operating brilliantly, the source author's own father learning languages in his 60s, becoming an authority, teaching until 99.
Wow. And historical figures, too.
Cato learning Greek at 80. Schumann-Heink reaching her musical peak late in life. Wesley, Newton, Tennyson, all incredibly productive in their later years.
So retirement shouldn't be seen as just stopping.
No. It's a chance for a new venture, a new challenge, maybe pursuing that dream you never had time for. The crucial thing is don't let your mind retire. Keep it learning, growing, contributing.
And what's the secret of youth, according to this book?
It's an inner state. Love, joy, inner peace, laughter, goodwill, faith. These things keep you feeling and looking young, dwelling on fear, anger, resentment, bitterness. That ages you faster than anything.
It's a really uplifting message.
Yeah.
You are needed. You have so much to give, regardless of the calendar years.
Exactly. You have wisdom and experience others need.
And finally, the book wraps a lot of this up by talking about happiness, saying it's not really about external circumstances.
You're right. It states very clearly, happiness is a state of mind. It's a choice. It's a habit. It doesn't depend on being rich or married or having the perfect job. Those things are nice, but they aren't the source of happiness.
So, how do you choose it then? If it's a choice.
The advice is incredibly practical. Start each day by consciously declaring it. Say to yourself with conviction, I choose happiness today. I choose success today. I choose right action today. I choose love and goodwill for all today.
And really mean it. Fill it with life.
Fill those declarations with life, love, and genuine interest. Don't just mouth the words. And consciously choose what you dwell on. It even quotes Philippians.
Whatsoever things are true. Lovely. Of good report.
Just think on these things. Direct your focus deliberately towards the good, the positive, the constructive.
And happiness is connected to expressing the best within you.
Yes, expressing that divine potential, the love, light, truth, beauty that the source believes resides within everyone. True, lasting happiness comes from that inner connection.
So ultimately, happiness is the harvest of a quiet mind. anchored in these subconscious principles.
That's how it puts it. You can't buy it. And it also stresses there's no particular virtue in poverty either. True riches, both material and spiritual, and genuine happiness come from tapping into these inner resources.
So if we try to boil all this down, everything we've unpacked from this source material, the dual mind, suggestion, healing, the techniques, success, fear, relationships, sleep, age, happiness, there's one giant takeaway, isn't there?
Absolutely. It's that the power to fundamentally transform your life, to heal your body, achieve your goals, find peace, find joy, that power doesn't come from outside. It's already within you.
Residing in the vast potential of your own subconscious mind.
This deep, intelligent, incredibly receptive part of you.
And it's not something you have to, go out and find or earn. You already possess it.
Exactly. It's just waiting for you to understand how it works and then learn to consciously direct it through your habitual thoughts, your beliefs, your imagination, your deepest feelings.
It really puts the control back in your hands. You're the captain, you're the gardener.
You are the only thinker in your mental universe, as the book says. It's an incredibly empowering perspective.
Which leaves us, and you listening, with a really potent thought to maybe mull over, based on everything we've explored today.
Yeah.
If your subconscious mind faithfully reproduces your habitual thinking and feeling, what kind of future are you actively planting for yourself right now with the thoughts you're thinking and the feelings you're feeling in this very moment?